Hey, it's your boy Kai. Welcome to the Kyrus Friends podcast, where I sit down with the people that mean the most to me, and those are my colleagues and my friends. I'm sitting here with my friends Jared, Milian, Jonathan Polanco. We're holding down the fort today. It's the three of us. It's going to be fantabulous today. And friends, I had a great Friday evening. I have my Dunkin' coffee. I had a nice breakfast this morning. But here we go. I'm going to start off a little different today. I'm going to say something very controversial. Jared, you can't hate me for this.
I will be so upset. It better not be. Okay, I'm ready.
You're going to hate me for this. I hope. Are you
love
sitting
drama.
down? You're sitting down.
I love drama. Oh my God.
I'm going to start some drama. This is. I'm going to say something, and then this is when you go into the confessional, and for our reality TV show.
Yes. Yeah.
Jared, I am liking Falcon and Winter Soldier better than WandaVision.
Okay.
Now that's not to say that I didn't like Wanda, because I loved WandaVision. You know I did.
A friend of the pod, Bruce De La Cruz, and I were texting last week or last night, and we were talking, and I think so. I love Falcon and Winter Soldier. Yes. I wish it were a movie because I almost feel like I wouldn't have minded 2-3 hour movies. Do you know what I mean? If they were like 1 part, 2 part, or 3 2-hour movies, whatever, I would have enjoyed it. I still love it. Right. I wouldn't say that I like it more. It's just, for me, it's like comparing Doctor Strange as a film to Iron Man as a film. They're two very different things, but they're both excellent in their own right. I also feel like this is very controversial, but I feel like superheroes have been a man's game for a long time. And I think
why are you doing this to me? Now
No. This isn't going to go where you think it is. It's not going to go where you think it is. And I feel like we have made it very equal as far as women and men.
Sure.
There's a small part of me that someone at Marvel was like, let's give our longtime men fans something, and we're going to give Falcon and Winter Soldier to our guys, and we're giving WandaVision to the gays. That's how I feel. I feel like they were like, we're going to give them each what they need, and we're giving WandaVision to the gays, and this and that. So I think that, like, if someone was like, if I had to say that I liked it better, if that was my opinion, what I would say I like better about it is there's less confusion. We're going directly to what's happening.
It's clear what Marvel.
Yes. WandaVision broke the formula.
It did. I will 100% agree with you. I just wanted to start off the podcast with some controversy today, Jared.
Yeah, y'all don't know how to have controversy. Y'all would be nice and shit. You need to be like, bitch, you don't know nothing about Wanda Maximoff's struggle. You don't know nothing about no Agatha Harkness's struggle. You don't know nothing about no Vision struggle. So you want to come up to my house on my birthday with a birthday present for my birthday, with my birthday present in a birthday gown with a birthday present. Like, you need to really stir the pot. Y'all don't watch enough friggin' what Real Housewives of New Jersey. I don't have time for this. All right.
I can't. I just want, and we'll talk more about Falcon and Winter Soldier. I just wanted to start off today. I woke up and chose violence today.
But it's also, to be honest, it also reminds me a lot of why I love Captain Marvel as a film so much, because I don't know if I would have wanted to go through emotionally what WandaVision put me through twice. So it's like Endgame or Infinity War ripped my heart out. Infinity War had us so broken, and then Captain Marvel came out, and I was like, okay, we can breathe. This is like a fun action refresher, and now we'll go back to the sadness.
That's fair.
I think Loki will be like a combination of both.
I'm excited for all of those. And so with that said, since I woke up choosing violence today.
Choosing violence, girl.
Choosing violence. Listen, my friends, if you like what you're watching so far, please be sure to follow me on your favorite social media platforms at The Vibe with Kai. This week on our panel, we're going to be talking about a lot of different things. We're going to be talking about, obviously, episode 4 of The Falcon and Winter Soldier, which came out this past Friday. We're going to be talking about the new Black Widow trailer that was released like an hour after we put up our last episode.
Literally,
we're going to be talking about Loki. the new Loki trailer that came out like a day after we dropped the last episode. We're going to be talking about the new Avengers Campus, which is coming to Disneyland, which I'm super duper excited about.
I'm flying to California today.
Legit, I'm so excited for that. And then
we'll wait till June 4th to fly.
Well, yeah.
All right.
We're all flying out together. We should all go together.
You don't even play me because I'm ready.
Oh my god, we should film the podcast there.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I would 100% do it.
I would so be down for that.
Yes, 100%. And
things are happening. Of course, stay tuned, folks. Hit that subscribe button.
And then and also what I challenged Jared and John to do is to think of their favorite predictions and or prophecies that they think or hope will come true in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So we're going to talk about that as well. Obviously we got to talk a little bit with Jared Milian. How are you, my friend? How are you doing, my friend?
I'm good.
You're doing big things.
I'm having a great week. I'm always so excited to be back here for this.
Yeah.
I do want to give a little shout out to any of the people listening. If you disagree with Kyrus about the WandaVision versus Falcon and Winter Soldier, please comment under any of his Instagram posts with the lightning emoji, because we're going to bring Storm into the conversation. So if you agree with me, put a lightning or thunder emoji under any of Kyrus's.
I love it.
That's how to start some drama. That's how to start drama right there.
I love it. And then obviously we have Mr. Jonathan
Wanda's birthday,
Polanco.
not to cut you off. On my cat Wanda's birthday, he said that.
Yeah,
So you know what I did? I attacked today. I came out strong. Jonathan V. Polanco is also joining us today. Jonathan, hi, sir. How are you?
Hello.
How are you today? What are you gracing us with today?
Okay, so have you ever slept and as you're sleeping, you realize
times.
Yeah. And then you realize, wow, this is a suspicious amount of sleep time that I'm getting. And then you open your eyes and you realize that you have to film with your lovely friends in about 15 minutes.
You can feel it in the air.
Still a mess. You haven't even brushed your hair.
That late sleep feeling, you can wake up and the atmosphere will tell you've slept too late. You're the sun
smell in the air
when I wake up.
Right? It smells a little bit dustier in here than I
smells a little bit like 11 o'clock. Okay.
Yeah, it smells a little later, girls. So today I figured by the end of this podcast, I'll have a lovely eye look for us.
I love it.
I'm not sure what I'm going for today, but stay tuned.
That's fair. I also meant to throw in there, I got my first vaccine shot this past week.
Yes, Daddy.
Yes, I got the Pfizer. I'm a Pfizer baby.
Serum.
I got
Pfizer
the super soldier serum.
Yes, the Johnson & Johnson is the Mind Stone. So I will get my Wanda power soon.
You sure about that, girl?
Yeah, they're coming.
You're going to be alternate reality vision. You're going to fade away.
So I'll say that Pfizer is the super soldier serum, and we will say that Moderna is. We'll figure out what Moderna is by the end of this.
That's
sure. Why not?
I know. Yeah. So I'm feeling, and here's the thing. My arm, it didn't feel sore. I was sore for like half a day, and then it was fine. Right. But what I didn't realize this until last night. One of the side effects I didn't realize was a side effect. I thought I was just not sleeping well. I was exhausted all week.
Yeah.
All week. I was just my focus wasn't there. I was tired. I went to bed early. And by early, I'm talking 8, 9 o'clock on some nights, which I don't do.
Yeah, you stayed till 4 a.m. to watch TV. So
yeah, that's true.
And go to work at 5.
Just saying, girl, get ready for shot 2.
I know. So I already took off from work. My second shot is April 28th. I already took off from work from the 29th. I'm just gonna I'm ready. I'm ready for that. But with that said, my friends, I'm excited. Let's talk first and foremost. We have Avengers Campus coming to Disneyland in California.
Trucking. God,
I'm super excited about this. The news all Marvel fans have been waiting for has finally broken. Disneyland's Avengers Campus is opening June 4th at Disney California Adventure Park. When it does open, Avengers Campus will be the only Marvel land at a Disney theme park in the country. Because of existing contracts with Universal Studios, which has a superhero island with attractions themed to MCU favorites like the Incredible Hulk and Iron Man and Spider-Man, Walt Disney World in Florida will not ever get a Avengers Campus. However, Disneyland will have their Avengers Campus opening June 4th. Here's everything we know. I'm going to read through some of the things that we know so far, and I think you guys will appreciate this. Here's everything we know about the Disneyland Avengers Campus so far. When the park opens on June 4th, the only ride debuting when it opens is a ride called Web Slingers, a Spider-Man adventure, which is an all-ages ride that tracks a person's head, hand, and eye movements 60 times a second to create the feeling that the rider is actually shooting Spider-Man's webs out of their own hands in real time. Tom Holland, who plays Spider-Man in the MCU, stars in this ride and has called it the most I've ever felt like Spider-Man. The land also incorporates Iron Man, who died at the end of Avengers Endgame, spoiler alert, and takes place in a, I know, so, spoiler alert, guys, sorry. But here's the thing. So this takes place, the land incorporates Iron Man, who died, obviously, and takes place in a point in time when the blip that erased half of humanity never happened. How? Ooh. The Marvel multiverse. Disney is running with the idea that this campus exists out of the MCU timeline that we know in an alternate timeline in the multiverse. And then last but not least, I found this one really interesting because and what I'm about to say is what it shows, how like weird things have been thrown off by the shifting in release dates. But the villain of the aerial stunt show, which features Captain America, Black Panther, and Black Widow. Do you know who the villain is in the aerial stunt show?
No.
You ready for this? Taskmaster, who is the foil of Black Widow in her upcoming movie, which is set to be released July 9th. Obviously, this movie was supposed to be released last year. So at this point, we would have probably already obviously met this villain. But we're going to meet Taskmaster before we even meet Taskmaster. While the aerial show likely won't spoil any of the major plot points of Black Widow, it will be the first iteration of that villain anywhere outside of the comic books. My friends, Avengers Campus. Are we excited?
I'm so ready.
Are we going?
I'm so ready.
Look at this. This is so cool. Look at this.
Here's the really cool thing about Avengers Campus too that I'm aware. I don't know if anybody knows this about me. Hey, Donald in the background. I am like the biggest Disney gay out there. Like it's actually kind of like depressing. Very much love me some Disney. A little bit too much almost. I'm a 30-year-old man and I listen to Moana like almost every week. It's very regular.
The emotional roller coaster Moana, it really is. It's too much.
Girl, it's so good. But yeah, they are actually opening 3 Avengers Campus. There's going to be one in California, there's going to be one in Disneyland Paris, and there's going to be one in Shanghai Disney. Yes. So, and they're all going to connect in some.
They are. I did read that they're all going to be connected in some fashion, and that you'll be able to actually like communicate with the people over there as well, which is exciting. Like, look at obviously this ride over here on the top right, that's already been there. That is it used to be the Tower of Terror, but they changed it to the Guardians of the Galaxy like 3 or 4 years ago. And they redid that, but now they're just redoing that entire land to be the Avengers Campus. There's looks like they're going to have a Quinjet in there, which is awesome. And I know that there's going to be future rides that are going to be opening up that just haven't opened up yet. But the first major ride that's going to open up is this Spider-Man ride, which is right over here. I'm super excited for this.
It's really cool. I used to work for Disney. I used to work
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I worked for Disney Cruise Line for a year. I performed with them.
Oh my gosh.
We got to like really I get to see a lot of like ins and outs and like really understand the way Disney World and Disneyland work. And like, I am disappointed that it won't be in Florida because Disney World is my favorite Disney property, but I've been to California, but I've never been to Disneyland. So it's definitely, for me, I love California. LA is my second favorite city in the world.
See, I love LA. A lot of people say LA. I love LA.
When I went to LA, it's one of those things, like when I got to LA, like it was like a feeling of like, everything I had thought about LA was not true. And everything I had like learned about LA, like attracted me to, it felt like I should have stayed there when I was there. I was like, oh, I shouldn't leave. You know what I mean?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But with that being said, I think that it's really, really, really cool. And have you guys ever been to the Marvel Island and Islands of Adventure?
Of course.
Yes.
Of course.
So what's cool about that island is like when that came out, like that Spider-Man ride was cutting edge. And like
Yes.
so it's like cool to think that like now, like 17 years later, Disney is essentially like doing it in a different way. I think it's just like one of those things where like I'm not gonna like cry, but when they like put this out, I was like, I almost wish I was a kid, because it's like one of those things where I'm like, I would have just thought this was the coolest thing in the entire world when I was a kid. Like, because I remember going to that Marvel Island and being like, I can't believe people like the things that I like. Because like there's a storm ride in that island. It's cheesy and awful, but like there's a storm ride. And it's like one of those things where like it's like being a kid and like now having this, it's so cool to come full circle and know that like comic book characters are this cool at this late in the game. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes. This is super, like, look at this thing. Like, this is an artist rendering of the ride, that's the Spider-Man ride that's going to be opening up with the ride. This is just really, really cool. Like the fact that you'll be able to act like you're Spider-Man, you know, like that, like this kind of technology that's available, like to scan you 60 like, times a second. Like that's insane.
The quality of these rides, like they produce these movies and they're cutting edge. So just imagine with like the technology they can do with these rides, they're going to be
better.
Insane.
It's going to be amazing. I don't know if you guys
in the film. Tom Holland has played.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's
I don't know
okay.
if you guys have been to the Avatar Land in Animal Kingdom. I don't know if you guys have been on Flights of Passage.
Wait, don't say anything. Okay, don't say anything. I'm going to stop you. And I'll tell you why. You guys know me. I am a roller coaster theme park fanatic. I travel the country riding them, right? However, I was actually saying this last night. I am that kind of person. I'll go on YouTube and I'll just ride virtual roller coasters or ride virtual rides because I'm that person, right?
Yeah, it's fun.
I have purposefully not seen anything or watched anything about Flight of Passage on purpose because I want to be fully.
You were gonna.
Like, I can't wait.
I won't spoil anything, but I'm just saying, because I've been on Flights of Passage. Also, if you have a little edible to take with you before you go on it really makes everything amazing. But girl, just having been on that ride and having seen what they did with the Rise of the Resistance, I am so looking forward to what Walt Disney Imagineering will create for these lands, because it will. I guarantee you, in 5 years, the Avengers Campus will have the new greatest ride in the world.
I'm glad you brought up that Avatar ride, and I won't ruin it for you, Kyrus, at all, I promise. But like, so what I was getting at earlier is like, one of my dear friends that I met from working at Disney is a parade manager at the park. So like Disney treats their employees very well. So like when we go to Florida, we can just go and it's really fun and like we don't have to pay. It's really great. And he took us to like a bunch of me and Charlie went, not this last October, but the October before in 2019. And so a lot of times like he'll come get us. Like if we would go that we stay for like a week and like he'll whatever. It's a very nice perk to have a friend. And a lot of times you could just cut lines and stuff.
Sure.
And when he took us to the Avatar land, he was like, now we can cut anything. He's like, but I really feel like for these rides, we should wait on the lines because he's like, I think you should experience everything. And we did. And I won't, without ruining it, I like Avatar. I think it's a really phenomenal film. But with that being said, I don't like it as much, obviously, as I like the Marvel movies. But with Flights of Passage, it is the greatest and most exhilarating ride I have ever been on in my life.
I'm going this summer because last year I wasn't able to obviously travel like I usually do to ride roller coasters and go and ride stuff like that. But I'll be in Florida for a little bit this year because I want to obviously go to Animal Kingdom and ride that. I also am going to Islands of Adventure because they have a new Velocicoaster opening up, which is actually the background to my computer, believe it or not. That's the background to my computer. I'm really excited.
Kyrus, go at night. If you can go to Animal Kingdom at night.
Oh my god.
Sure. I mean, I've been to Animal Kingdom many times. I just never been to Pandora.
Yeah,
Go to
at
Pandora.
night. Go at night.
Go to Pandora
Go
at
at night.
Fair
Good.
enough. So
it looks like you're in the movie. Like, I don't want to
yeah.
keep interrupting, but like I've never had that kind of like you're in Pandora. You're
I'm
there.
And that's
excited.
why I'm so excited for the Avengers Campus, because girl, it's gonna friggin' be you're gonna be in your own movie. You're
and it's
gonna
like
have your
4
own
years
Avengers
later. It's 4
story.
Yes.
years
It's gonna be so
later.
great.
So it's like, imagine if they could do that with Pandora 4 years ago, what they could do with the Avengers Campus now.
Exactly.
Oh, 100%. It's gonna be amazing.
Exactly. I'm really excited. This opens up June 4th. So we'll schedule some time. We're gonna find time to go out to Cali.
I'm down.
Spend some time in California.
Down.
Let's go. We'll get an
down.
Airbnb or something and just chill out at the beach and just drink and be nerds. I'm okay with that.
Me too. I'm very down.
So let's talk about our girl. Our girl released a new trailer.
My queen.
Look at the eyes. Look at the eyes. I love it, Jared. Our girl released a new trailer last week. The final trailer for Black Widow drew in over 70 million views in just 24 hours, surpassing all of the first looks at the Disney Plus Marvel TV shows. Directed by Kate Shortland, Black Widow is currently scheduled to officially kick off Phase 4 on July 9th, when it simultaneously gets a theater release and available to stream on Disney Plus with Premier Access. Though some feel that it's far too late for Marvel to delve into Natasha's origin story, especially because of her, spoiler alert, tragic death in Avengers Endgame, the final trailer successfully proved that Black Widow will honor Nat's legacy as an integral part to the MCU for over a decade. My friends, we're getting some Natasha love this summer. Are you excited? What did you think of the trailer?
I loved it. I thought it was so exciting. I thought it was so like grandiose and over the top, and it was exactly what we needed. You know, it almost feels like this. I mean, it's probably not the final trailer, but again, at the same time, it was the reveal trailer for them to be like, oh, we're coming out on Disney Plus and everything simultaneously. You know, after the news broke that they were doing that, so it was nice to see kind of like everything that we've seen before and a couple new things here and there. I think that I think at the end of the day, it's going to be a great story. It's going to be fun. It's going to be action packed. And again, it's going to give us the feminine energy that we need in the MCU, because again, I mean, we've had WandaVision, thank God for WandaVision. We have the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we have, you know, Loki. We need some more women. We need some more powerful women in the MCU. And I mean, she's literally this scene right here. That's a building. That is a building falling from a sky, and she is just like.
And she has no superpowers or anything, but she's still kicking ass.
Don't even look like she got a parachute on, girl. Like,
no, can you correct me if I'm wrong? Taskmaster, he or she, I don't know how they're going to do it in this iteration of it, but he or she, their quote superpower is that they're able to mimic the other whoever they're fighting, mimic their actions. Am I correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's interesting because Natasha does have powers in the comics. So it's like a little like she's like very close to like a super soldier in the comics, if I'm not mistaken. So like definitely there is like some kind of mimicky with Taskmaster. I have to do a little bit more reading. But like, I know that like I think that they'll be setting the Taskmaster up to be a bigger villain within the MCU, obviously, if they're the villain of that ride.
Right.
I just think I'm excited about it. And like I've said this before, like I've always liked Scarlett Johansson. I think she's a phenomenal actress. I think she's absolutely beautiful to look at. I just, like I said, I don't, this is very controversial.
Oh, girl.
But I would have rather Hawkeye died in Endgame.
I don't think that's as controversial as you think. I think
I agree.
And I think that, like, first of all, like, there's so many reports of like Jeremy Renner being a complete dick too, that it's like, I just think that like it would have been so cool, especially like with the story that Natasha had in Endgame, like where she was so devoted to like keeping the family together. It would have been so cool to like have her kind of take us into the next phase of the Avengers. With that being said, I'm happy that we're going to see it. I'm excited about the new Black Widow. Like, I'm excited that like it's going to continue. It just frustrates me because, like I've said before, like I just felt like that that death, in my opinion, was the biggest miss of the entire every film. It's probably my least favorite moment because it just felt so unnecessary and weird.
Right.
And I think that, like, for me, I am excited to watch it, but I'm excited. The thing about the MCU, the first phases, was that we were getting, if we got origin stories, they were few and far between. So it's like we would get something like Thor, which fell into the timeline, or we would get Captain Marvel, which we would then see where she was in the next film, or we would get, you know what I mean? And this is just such a callback to the past that for me, I'm kind of like, I'm excited about it, but I would have rather it came out before WandaVision, before Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I would have rather that the beginning of this year was Black Widow. The first MCU thing we got in a year was Black Widow, because then we could have been excited and we're like, all right, we'll see what's coming next. It just feels like, you know, like Thor and like people got films before her.
Yeah.
That it's kind of like, okay, you know what I mean? You're going to stick Iron Man 3 in 2008.
Right.
And then you're going to make her be like a background character for 5. It's like, listen, I'm excited about it. I'm just cautiously optimistic because I'm sure I'm going to love the movie, but I hope that I can get the bad taste of my disappointment of her dying out of my mouth. You know what I mean?
Fair. John, what do you think? Are you excited for the movie?
I'm very excited. What was the old the ex-producer for Marvel and for Marvel Studios? I'm trying to remember his name.
Did he bring, you mean the X-Men films or the?
No. He was a producer on all of the Avengers film, all of the Marvel movies before Black
Feige?
Panther. Yeah, it was before Feige took on creative control. You know, I can't remember what his name was, but he was actually the reason why they didn't really give a lot of, like, he was the reason, because they wanted to introduce like Black Panther during phase 2, like they wanted to introduce all this stuff. That's why there's a lot of Easter eggs and like things where they talk about vibranium and other things like that in, like, you know, phase 2 movies. And this guy like really was like, no, I don't want female leads. The only thing that they're for is to be pretty and to look good and be in skimpy tight outfits and stuff like that. And that was really all that they were to him. And then Kevin Feige
it certainly wasn't Joss Whedon, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, because Feige produced Avengers, so it would have been before Avengers.
I mean, it was he produced it, but he didn't have creative control over all Marvel properties. But it was before he had creative control, before like Bob Iger literally was just like, you are the reason the MCU is moving forward, not anybody else, and literally handed all of creative control to Marvel, and that's like including comics and everything else, to Kevin Feige. I can't remember what the producer's name was, but he was the reason why we didn't get like a Black Widow movie. He was the reason why we didn't get a Black Panther movie sooner. You know,
right. Well, I mean,
stood in the way of that.
We're getting one. Like now
exactly.
We're getting
I'm here
one,
for it. I'm so
and
ready.
like I'm super duper excited. I think she looks great. I think that this is going to be a good. The term I use, and I use this to describe the most recent episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier, it just seems very grounded, because like we spent so much time, like, nothing against like outer space and other worlds and alternate, you know, universes. I don't mind that stuff at all. But I also, like, you guys know that one of my favorite movies of all time, MCU wise, is Winter Soldier, because it was just very grounded, you know.
And it's like one of the, I would say it's like in the top probably 3 or 4 of the best. I rewatched that film after we spoke first. I watched that film after our first podcast, and I'm like, this movie is really
good. And so
I like it more
I'm getting
than
very
War.
Winter Soldier-ish vibes from this, and I'm okay with that, because this is exciting. I think she's going to be great. Florence Pugh, who I'm going to assume they're setting up to kind of take over, if not as Black Widow, but just as somebody in the.
No, definitely, 100%. 100%
will be somebody in the future, because I think they did say that she's going to be appearing in the Hawkeye TV series and Ms. Marvel, perhaps.
She-Hulk too.
Yeah.
She-Hulk.
Yeah, so I'm excited for that. So this week we also got to look at this guy
My baby!
Oh my
Loki.
God, so good.
Friends, the Marvel Universe is broken, and it's up to Loki to fix it. According to the latest trailer for his upcoming series on Disney Plus, Marvel released the trailer for Loki this past Monday, and it seems like the show will send Loki from one famous Marvel movie moment to another. The trailer starts out by reminding us where Loki is and how he got there. As you recall, in Avengers Endgame, Loki picked up the Tesseract and almost immediately got arrested. This is where it picks up in the TV show. Got arrested by the extremely interesting Time Variance Authority, TVA. According to the TVA officer, Mobius M. Mobius, played by Owen Wilson, who I'm super excited about, when Loki picked up the Tesseract, he accidentally broke time. And now he has to fix it. And as it turns out, fixing time means traveling back through famous MCU moments in what looks like a sci-fi reality hopping heist series. During this trailer alone, Loki visits an alternate universe version of New York, where the Avengers Tower, along with the rest of the city, has been decimated. He also pops out somewhere that looks like some places from Thor Ragnarok, maybe even I don't know, a couple other places that we've seen before, which is exciting. He even appears to visit Black Widow, but that's not Black Widow, as some people were hoping for. I know people were hoping for Black Widow. I do not believe that is Black Widow. I believe that is someone else that is in the series. Yeah, I'm really, really, really excited about this. Friends, the Loki trailer, we saw it. What do we think? John, I'll start with you.
Oh, sorry.
I think it's gonna be great, man. I mean, again, I feel like I'm a broken record. Everything's gonna be great, but like again, watch like we'll get to it when we get to the discussion about the Falcon and Winter Soldier. But Marvel just knows what they're doing, man. Like Marvel has the formula down for every single thing that they're gonna do, and even if they're doing something that's so wildly out there and outlandish and over the top, a la WandaVision. It's still very grounded. It tells a very human story, even though these are very superhuman experiences that any of these characters are going through. And again, the thing is that's so beautiful about the way that Marvel tells stories is that you can relate to any character, regardless if they are. Again, there'll be time hopping in this. They're going to go to all these famous moments. There's going to be alternate realities. And yet I guarantee you, everybody's going to be like, I relate to Loki. I relate to this person. I relate to the, like, that's
and it's fair. You do.
MO, and Marvel just knows how to do that. Marvel knows how to take their audience and give them what they want and also subvert their expectations and give them something that they didn't know that they needed. And honestly, I wasn't super excited about this Loki series until I saw the first trailer, and then I was like, "This is going to be great.
You know what? It's funny you say that, John, because I like when they released the first trailer, I was like, okay, sure, why not? Mm-hmm. I wasn't actually super duper excited until this most recent trailer when I realized what they were doing. When I realized that he was going to be hopping in time. Yeah, I was like, oh, this is going to be cool because I love time movies. Like anything that has to do with time or going back in time and fixing things, or like that's why even though Infinity War is the superior one in the end of the saga, I do like Endgame because it's just like really cool to play with time. I love movies like what was the most recent one from Tenet, the movie Tenet, which dealt with time. Yeah, like stuff like that. Girl. Like I love that. I am a sucker for time movies. And it looks like this is going to be something that's very similar to that. Jared, what are you thinking about the trailer? Are you excited?
I love Loki. I'm a huge fan of Loki. Like if I could go back in time and pick a Marvel character that I would want to play, it would be Loki. I'm really excited about it. I think it's really smart. I think that what it does is, so first of all, like I had my doubts about Loki's death because he did not change back into his natural form when he died. He stayed. So I had my doubts about his death. But the reason I think this is really cool is I think we could get Loki really remaining in the MCU for a very long time, because once he kind of does this provides him with this knowledge. And we know Loki is really the worst when he learns things. So it's like, maybe he'll use this later on. You know what I mean? Maybe we'll be able to access this later on. The Black Widow thing, here's like, I'm going to tell you this. I 99.9% don't believe that is Black Widow.
No, it's definitely
But
not.
there is a part of me though that would not be disappointed if he has a moment with her on Mordir, just so we can get maybe some kind of closure to that. But with that being said, I don't think it's happening. It's one of those things where I'm like, I would love to see it, but I don't think it's happening.
Right.
Yeah.
I just think it's going to be, this was before I really took a bite out of WandaVision. This was really the series that I was the most excited for. I think it's going to be everything we want it to be. I love Loki. I really do.
Me too. And I want us to give some flowers to this man, Mr. Owen Wilson.
Oh God,
I when I first heard that he was attached to be a part of this, I was like, okay. But now that I saw him in action, I'm like, I think he's going to be really cool in this series. I like his vibe in these trailers. I think obviously he's not letting on as much as he's, I think he knows more than he's letting on, I should say.
100%.
Which is super duper exciting. I'm excited. I'm excited for Owen Wilson. I'm glad that he's getting his flowers. It's also Owen Wilson with gray hair. I think he's looking pretty good. I like.
I would not kick Owen Wilson out of bed. I'll tell you that much.
Yes.
I love it. When did they say this comes out? I think
it's right after Black Widow. So I think Black Widow will come out and then Loki will come out. Okay. I think timeline wise, I think Falcon and Winter Soldier will end, and then I think we get something after that, right? Don't we get something after Falcon and Winter Soldier?
Because we have 2 weeks left of Falcon,
Yeah, well, they could just change everything.
So they haven't told us when What If is coming out yet, right?
Yeah.
So this comes out June 11th.
Oh, so before Black Widow.
Yes, this comes out June 11th.
So then maybe it will. I mean, time, does that line right up?
That's what I'm pulling up now to see when things are being released this year, because I'm super curious. Okay, so hold on, I'm pulling this up. Where are you? Loki comes out June 11th. That's the next of the TV shows, I believe. So I'm going to pull this up on the screen here. This is what I'm looking at. This is on Polygon.com. So we got Falcon Winter Soldier March 19th, Loki June 11th, Black Widow July 9th, Shang-Chi September 3rd, and there has to be something between.
I think What If.
I guess What If. Yeah.
I think they're gonna stick What If in there because they're being so coy with not telling us when What If comes out. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's stuck in there. Listen, Marvel's difficult because we didn't know the long game they were playing with us for the last decade.
Sure.
We didn't know. So now we want it. And now I feel like they're like, we'll give you a little bit, but we're not going to give you everything. And it's and I'm sure the powers that be, the pandemic really did screw a lot of shit up. So I feel like the powers that be, they like movies like this do well because of the fans. But I think that I'm just really excited for all of it. I think that Loki's going to be, I think even this sounds on such a corny, I think even visually, it's going to be absolutely incredible to look at.
100%.
Yes. Yeah, I'm super duper excited for this. I mean, I say that for for everything, but I really, really am.
Look at something look at, not to cut you off, but look at something like Guardians. When they announced Guardians, everyone was like, "What the
who are the Guardians?
What do you mean?" You know what I mean?
That's how I was.
And now we cannot imagine the MCU without the Guardians of the Galaxy. So it's one of those things where I trust whatever they give us. It's frustrating, but I trust whatever they give us.
And it's funny you say that because Guardians was the first MCU property to be made into a ride. Now I'm not talking about Marvel property. I'm talking about MCU specific property. It's the first ride that they and I remember when it first came out, I'm like, who the hell are the Guardians of the Galaxy?
Well, especially because
these people before.
Especially because comic wise, they're not even the first iteration of the Guardians. So it's definitely one of those things where you're like, what? But I love it.
Yeah.
It's just I love, it reminds me of Game of Thrones in a way, where like it like brings people together. Do you know what I mean? And it's like you have people from all different walks of life. Like I started a new job this week and my new boss is like obsessed with Marvel, and like it's just one of those things where it's like it's like a commonality between people that I think like it's so exciting. Like I've said this on here before. I say this about Wonder Woman often, where it's like I just love watching superheroes because although they're obviously set in a fictional universe, it's one of those things where they're just people representing the best kinds of people. And it's like, and it's exciting. It's really exciting to watch.
Speaking of exciting, we got this week. Friends.
Girl.
I have something controversial to say.
Ooh. So let's set this up. So we're going to talk about the Falcon and Winter Soldier episode 4, which came out this past Friday. As always, I woke up early so I could watch it because I work in social media. Like literally, like my day job is social media, and so it's really easy for things to get spoiled for me. So I have to wake up early and watch before work. So let's set this up. After a trip to MCU's wretched hive of scum and villainy last weekend, when we visited what's the name of that place? Madripoor, yeah. Episode 4 of the Falcon and Winter Soldier, entitled "The Whole World Is Watching," and we understand why at the end of the episode, landed on Disney Plus this past Friday. This show takes place 6 months after Avengers Endgame, as the world tries to handle the unexpected return of billions of people. The episode ends with Mr. Walker here, newly empowered after sneakily taking the last of the super soldier serum, flying into a rage after Carly accidentally kills his partner, Lamar. Shout out to his eyebrows. That's for you, Jackie.
Lamar's
eyebrows, Queen Jackie.
AKA Battlestar, with a single powered punch to the chest. Friends, this was a really this was my favorite episode so far, and so we got a lot of important moments here. So Battlestar, he was killed, and my favorite part of this entire episode was when Mr. Walker thought that he'd be able to fight fight the Dora Milaje.
Girl. He really tried it. And I was like, watching it, I was like, girl, you need to sit on the bench right now because this is the varsity and you're not even JV, baby.
The Dora Milaje have jurisdiction. The Dora Milaje have jurisdiction wherever they find themselves to be.
I wish I had my fan.
I knew he was done when I think he walked over to Aya and was like trying to pat her on the soldier, and he's like, "I just want us to be friends," and she's like, "Bitch."
Girl, when he went to go touch her, I was like, don't do it, and then all hell broke loose. I was like, that's what your dumbass get. Fucking goddamn Equenciocha. Fucking white people fucking going up there, fucking thinking that they could tell fucking beautiful brown people what the fuck they need to fucking do and what they can. Oh, let's be friends. Bitch, she's like, I don't need you to be my friend. I don't need you to be my friend.
So
you need me to be your friend, ho. Ooh.
So my controversial statement I'll save. But speaking of the Dora, my thing, so Danae, I think her last name is Guerrera, that played Okoye.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So that is my favorite performance in all of the MCU. She is my favorite of every.
Her in that casino scene in Black Panther, when she rips off her wig and stuff.
What it is for me is my brother and Charlie and I to this day will quote this. My favorite line in all of MCU is when he's like, "You would kill me, my love," and she's like, "For Wakanda without question."
Mm-hmm.
So that performance to me is my favorite. So I like Io, but I was like, "Oh, I wish it was Okoye." But let me tell you this: when they all walked in, I was like, "Oh shit, it's not Okoye. They're all Okoye. They all have that same exact, like, I'm the baddest bitch in the building vibe that Okoye has." And for me, yes, I think it's such like an incredible commentary that we began this series dealing with the struggles of Black people and watching that like Black people are mistreated. And then we once again see these Black women who are so above the idea of being, yes, they're Black women and obviously they're incredible, but they are so beyond comprehension of the racism in America and the racism of these superheroes because they are the elite. Like
Yes.
it's like they hand all those white men and Sam their asses.
100%. And what the best part was, like, Sam and Bucky and Zemo, they all knew what was coming, so they're just sitting back and just be like, I think even at one point, I think Sam was like, you don't want to do this. I promise you.
When Bucky's like, good job, you're doing great. And it's like, because these women there are men warriors. There are male warriors in Wakanda. And the Dora Milaje is all female and they protect the king. Like, yes. I'm telling you right now, that's the strongest team in the MCU right there. They don't give a damn. And like, it's so incredible to me that we have such a rich now backstory of all these characters that we like. John even said it in the group chat. He was like, once I saw the beads, I knew what it was. We have so much history that we just know they're coming. And it's like, and give Miss Ayo her flowers. You know what I mean? Like,
yes, because she's been in the MCU for, like, that character specifically has been in the MCU for a while. She was one of the first people we met.
Yeah, she was the first Dora Milaje we saw on screen.
Yep.
I loved it. I think that like that fight sequence was my favorite moment so far of the series. I loved all of it. I'm excited to segue a little bit. My controversial statement is, I don't mean this the way it sounds, but I actually like John Walker. And I'm not saying I like the character, but I like that they're not just giving us a one-dimensional asshole.
Yes.
I like that, like, when Lamar died, we were like, I felt bad for him. I was
it's funny you say that because I hate this picture of him. It's funny you say that because I was actually thinking something similar, Jared, because I don't like the character, but I think that he's actually playing it so well.
So layered.
It's not that I felt bad for him. I understood why. Now, that doesn't mean that his actions were justified by any means, but like once Battlestar was killed, like, I mean, because that man was on the edge anyway, like especially after he got his ass kicked by the Dora Milaje, he's like, they didn't even have superpowers. They weren't even like super soldiers. And he's like, I got my ass kicked, you know? And so like seeing him, it wasn't just like a sudden switch, like it's seeing him just like barrel towards that like ending, like that ending with the shield and killing that man at the end, it didn't come out of nowhere. Like I understand why. I understand why he did it.
I also like how they're playing him referring to himself as Captain America and people not reacting, because I think what's interesting about that is I don't envy John Walker as a person, because it's like no one is going to be able to take up that mantle and have the respect. Zemo says it. There's only ever been one Steve Rogers. Right. And it's one of those things where I think it's like Disney could have just made him a dick. They could have just sent him to us and made him an unlikable character. And he is unlikable, but he's not. He's, once again, they're giving us a villain-esque character that we can understand. That we get it.
It also harks back to the first Captain America movie with Dr. Erskine. Dr. Erskine literally says,
good reference,
the super soldier serum takes good and makes it great. It takes bad and makes it worse. This man was already unhinged. He was already worried about having to get up to this mantle, and he's constantly like, you know, every time he walks in the room, hi, Captain America. Hi, Captain America. Hi,
literally.
Captain America. He's literally trying to like create the narrative that he is this person, and it's like, girl, you're not. Like, you're just not. And like, it's great that we wanted to give this mantle to you because, again, Captain America means so much. But like, you're missing the reason why Captain America meant so much, because of the morality that he had, because of the way that he would lay himself down on the line. And I mean, even it goes down down to like the simple fact of when he was talking about how he would lay his life on the line on a bomb. Have you ever fallen on a bomb? Yeah, I have. I've done this this really cool thing where I, you know, go and put my helmet on there, you know, where, you know, it almost even harks back to the idea of the first Avengers, where it's like Steve is like, I'm gonna put myself over a bomb, whereas as Tony was like, I'm just gonna cut the wire. You know, John Walker is the I'm gonna cut the wire guy. You know, he's not that I'm gonna lay my life on the line for the cause. You know, he's just a different breed.
I also want us to take a moment and talk about this scene and like how this scene, like this started out the show. So in this scene, we see Bucky in Wakanda during his Wakanda days when he was being, you know, assisted and with his recovery, and we see him with Io. And I thought that this was a very important scene because we see specifically his history with Io. And in Wakanda, and that it was like she was very integral to his recovery. And I like you don't see this kind of stuff in a movie. You don't see this kind of stuff in a movie. So like they started out the episode with this, and I was like, go Marvel. For like starting off like this and like build and like helping us understand that relationship between these two. And that it's not just like, oh, let's just get a random cameo from somebody that we all recognize from Wakanda. No, like these two have a history with each other.
With one another.
And yes, Mr. Bucky speaking Wakandan. I was like,
yes,
okay.
Right. Oh, girl, yes.
He's invited to the barbecue.
He did stay there for 5 years, and he knows like 50 languages as the Winter Soldier, so it makes sense that you pick up Wakandan very easily.
He is 100% invited to the barbecue.
Yes.
That yeah, I loved this scene. There was another scene that I really loved in Falcon and Winter Soldier episode 4. I'll see if I can find an image of it, but there's this one. Oh, here it is. I'm gonna put this image up. I loved this scene between Sam and Carly. This is before Mr. Walker came in and ruined everything, but I loved the back and forth that they had here because it showed that they're really on the same side, right? In a way, they're really on the same side, and they can both understand each other. And I love the human interaction, like just the human understanding between these two characters. But then we see the fundamental differences later when they're pushed to the edge. I don't think they want to fight each other. In fact, I believe at the end of the episode, she's like, "Come with me, work with me." She knows that he's a good guy and that he's understanding.
It's an interesting perspective to think. Something that really I didn't think of until they said it was the fact that like once the blip happened and we were living in this kind of borderless world, it wasn't just about like crime or criminal activity. It was about jobs and opportunity and being able to have like maybe a life that you weren't able to have. And it's like, think about how much when it comes to privilege and perspective and relevance of like how many people are disenfranchised simply because of where they grew up. That's a huge conversation. Like when you talk about like the racism in the real estate industry with like red zones and different areas that were like dedicated to Black people, but Black people didn't know that was happening. And I think that it's very interesting to think of the blip from a perspective of, you know what, like I was able to go to a new land that wouldn't have let me in, and I was able to make a life for myself. And now you're trying to take that away. I wish Sis would like learn compromise. Maybe I wish that we would maybe have like, I wish she would learn that like we could maybe figure this out. But with that being said, I think that like Sam is, I hope that he lasts forever because Sam is just such a wonderful kind of anchor for the MCU because he is a man, a Black man, and he is essentially like, I like that we get to see that he's not just like a superhero. And as much as like, obviously rest in peace, Chadwick, I love T'Challa, but T'Challa doesn't come from the same universe that Sam comes from. And it's like, when you look at it like that, this Sam is Black men in America. Sam is giving us like this perspective of, that's when he's saying to her and she's like, you don't understand. And he's like, yes, I do. Like, yes,
like, I understand probably the best out of anybody.
And it's like, it's one of those things where like, it's interesting for me to look at things from that perspective because, you know, they've really created a real world for us. And it's like we're now seeing real world problems that these people are dealing with. Because
and this is stuff that you don't see in movies.
Yeah,
like they just don't have not that they don't want to. It's just they probably don't have the time, to showcase this stuff.
To like the point I made last week, where I do believe that these will fill in the blanks for some films, and I do believe we'll be in a situation where to understand where the MCU is going, you may need to watch these movies. Because I don't think it's going to be, I think it'll be like the Avengers. You can enjoy the Avengers films, but you'll enjoy them more if you've seen all the other films.
Right.
Where I feel like these new MCU films will be great, but I think you'll enjoy them more if you watch the series that have come out in this time.
Right. On a scale of 1 to 10, we have two more episodes left in the season as it comes barreling towards the end here. We really don't know what's going to come next, because like the only thing that in the trailers that we haven't, there's two things in the trailers that we haven't seen yet. Number one is Zemo at the Sokovia memorial, which I would imagine, since he's escaped, I would imagine that's where he's headed, right? And number two, it's Bucky and Sam with the shield, like throwing the shield against the tree. Outside of that, we've seen everything, so we have no idea where this is going. We also were told, and I'm curious your thoughts on this, that the producer of the show did an interview last week, and I say this cautiously because we were kind of trolled before when Mr. Vision himself said something similar. Come to find out, it was kind of a troll job. But like this one right here, I'm taking kind of seriously. The producer of the show said that there's a character in episode 5 that we're not expecting, that people are going to be talking about in episode 5. And I'm really excited about this. I don't know who it could possibly be, but this is what the person said. He said that whoever we're going to see in episode 5 is somebody that he quotes would love to see alongside Thor.
Oh.
I'm not going to say anything because you know who I think it should be.
I know who you think it should be. It's Mephisto.
It's Mephisto.
Who I think it is.
Shout out to Mephisto.
So can I tell you my favorite part? The most exciting part. My favorite part was the Dora fight, but the most exciting part of the episode last night, and this is going to sound really minute, but it was everybody filming John Walker kill that guy. Because that is obviously very controversial in and of itself, and it does speak very to real world things that are happening. But with that being said, if we just focus on this fictional universe, the feeling I got was I was like, ooh, baby, you're not going to be Captain America no more. They're going to take that away because that's going to go everywhere. So that was exciting to me because I'm like, oh, he's done. I'm like, he's done.
Oh, 100%. But do you think that maybe it's because, again, is Steve dead? Do you think he'd come back?
So
do you think Steve would be like...
That's what I was just about to say. Is maybe it's old man Steve.
So let me read you exactly what they said. So it wasn't the producer. I apologize. It's the showrunner and the writer, Malcolm Spellman. When the Falcon and Winter Soldier first began airing in mid-March, showrunner and writer Malcolm Spellman teased a special cameo in episode 5, which he's building up to be quite a doozy. Quote, hands down, episode 5, it gets real, Spellman said in an interview with comicbook.com in March. And 5, you're going to cry. So what of this cameo? Fans have already been speculating, blah, 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 blah. This is what he says. He says, there are characters in the series who I would love to see partnered with, like it's a very, very grounded character, partnered with one of the big world shakers like Thor or something like that. The personality is so strong. It's the episode 5 character. I'd love to see that character with Thor. So I would imagine it's somebody we've already met.
But I think they're saying it's not going to be any of the Avengers.
Right. But it's going to be something that we like.
So I'm assuming then, that negates the idea that it would be Old Man Steve, because I think that they wouldn't have said that if it was going to be Old Man Steve.
Right.
But I mean, I wonder, like maybe they're saying the Thor thing because it'll be like from a science aspect. So maybe it'll be one of those characters, like maybe Kat Dennings or someone in that kind of vein. I don't think it will be Kat Dennings, but do you know what I mean? Maybe it'll be a character that they're going to bring back and in like maybe redo.
Right. So like my initial guess would be like somebody like Bruce Banner, but Bruce Banner has already been with Thor, so we know it can't be him.
And he's an Avenger, so it's like I don't think it'll be any of them.
I'm looking at a list of characters who haven't technically been seen with Thor. That's a grounded character. I mean, here are some that come to mind for me. Pepper Potts, even though I know Gwen. Oh, not Gwen. I know that. What's her fit? Like somebody like Pepper Potts, I could see.
What if it's Shuri?
Somebody like Shuri would be great. I can see Shuri happening. That's a very good point. Shuri's never met Thor.
What if it's Shuri?
I can definitely see that. Another person I was thinking of is what's his face? The guy from shit. Oh my gosh. What is his name? I can't think of it right now. So some other grounded characters. Lewis from Ant-Man, Hank Pym is another one. Let's see who else.
Maybe
Jane Foster's been with Thor. Who I don't know. This is really hard. It has to be
Shuri's like stuck in my head now. Shuri, Shuri's stuck in my head because
I can definitely see Shuri.
Because I think
comment down below which character you
let us know.
Yeah.
But I think it makes sense with the storyline. It would be because they didn't get Zemo. So I think that and the Dora Milaje are not going to give up until they get Zemo, I think.
Honestly, and now, I mean, girl, they almost took back that freaking shield because that's vibranium. That shield vibranium. I
love a moment where someone is like F around and find out. And the fact that she took that shield and then didn't give a damn what John Walker said. She looked over to Ayo, and Ayo was like, no, we don't need it. And she was like, oh, I'll give it back to you. Like, I'm choosing to return this shield to you. It's mine if I want.
Right, exactly. And so I'm reading some theories right now. So some people are saying, obviously, Old Man Rogers. Some people are saying Florence Pugh. And some people are saying Tatiana Maslany.
I don't think it'll be someone we haven't seen. I don't think it'll be someone we haven't seen.
Oh wait, hold on. Spellman later clarified that the character isn't an existing Avenger. Yeah, so so I mean, it's definitely not an existing. So maybe I could definitely see Shuri, Florence Pugh, and or Pepper Potts. That would be really cool.
Pepper would be really.
I would live for that.
The reason that Pepper comes to mind is because he says you're going to cry.
I just can't imagine
just watching her walk in there. I'd cry.
But I just can't imagine. So I hate to be like a realist, but this is like why I'm.
Have you met me?
This is why I'm still hanging on to the Storm. I think I'm still hanging on to the Storm theory because for me, the reason that I can't imagine they'd be able to hide Gwyneth Paltrow. I think someone would know she was there. We would have heard that she was there. Like, there's too many. Like, I firmly believe they only told us Russell Crowe was in Thor because there was a leak of a photo of him. Do you know what I mean?
Sure. Like hanging out with the cast and all that. Yeah.
So I don't that's the thing. I have every one of the Black women that I want to play Storm on post notifications because if one of them ladies is in Australia, I know it's her. So me, that's because there's a lot of rumors that are saying that Lena Headey, who played Cersei on Game of Thrones, is playing Valkyrie's queen. So people are watching her to see when she ends up in Australia. But with that being said, in that same kind of mindset, I just can't imagine we wouldn't have known that Gwyneth was filming. I think there would have been some leak or so we would have known. But with that being said, Disney has enough money that they could have put enough money towards it to make sure we didn't know.
Right.
So, but Pepper in my heart is who it is. Shuri in my brain is who it is.
I can definitely and one more clue that they gave us. This was a leak that they were filming something for episode 5 in a museum, in some sort of museum.
There you go. It's Wonder Woman.
Here for it. Here for it. Here for it.
Could you imagine? Martian Manhunter shows up. I love it.
See, look at you, always pushing my ladies down. Look at him. I said Wonder Woman, and he said Martian Manhunter. Look at him.
I'm getting canceled. I can see the headlines now. Kyrus doesn't like powered Black women or powered women in general. That's Kai. I'm like, oh, damn it.
Yes, I think that's cool. I didn't read that, and y'all know me. I'm the lead queen over here, so I didn't read that. That's exciting.
Speaking of, this is how I want to end our little podcast today. I want to hear one or two of your favorite predictions and or theories. I have one that
you go first, so I can shit on it.
That's fair. But mine's very general, and I don't think mine is unrealistic. And I want to preface this by saying that you guys could say whatever you want theory-wise. I promise you I will not be like, wrong.
We've done it already. We don't have to keep doing it.
I know, right?
We've already done it.
So this is my prediction. I think that we are going to get another MCU movie in 2022 that they have not announced yet. I think we're going to get a surprise MCU Marvel movie announcement that they have not officially announced yet, and that they're waiting for some special pieces to come into play in order to announce it. I don't know how logistically they would do it, but I remember when I was watching what do you call it? The Mandalorian, and they had already announced like a whole slew of Star Wars stuff that were coming out, and then at the end of the episode they said, "Oh, guess who's getting their own show, by the way?" And then come to find out it was what's his face?
Obi-Wan?
No. At
Boba
the end
Fett?
of Boba Fett, yes, Boba Fett. Was
yeah.
I think we're going to get something similar in 2022. I think that either we're going to meet a character or something in one of these upcoming things that we're not expecting, or it's going to be some sort of group team up that we're not like even thinking about, that we're going to get surprise movie that we don't know about. That is my prediction. The other reason I'm saying this is that they did announce another date in 2022 for a Marvel movie that has no name attached to it at all. So I think it's going to be a surprise one. The other guess that I have is that it's the Deadpool movie. That's my guess. That's my other guess.
Yeah.
So with that said, I want to start with John here, looking fabulous as always.
I was gonna say, okay, so here's the look.
Here, wait, hold on. Let me stop sharing the screen so people can see a full view of the look here. Go ahead.
Thank you.
I love this.
Inspired by Loki. We pulled up that Loki sign, and I was like, okay, green. Let's give it a little green black vibe. Yeah, a little silver in the inner corners. Yeah,
I like it. I'm a fan.
Thank you.
With the eyebrow shape thing and
yeah, you like my Khal Drogo eyebrow. Yeah. Ooh, thank you, Jason Momoa, for the inspiration.
Thank you, Jason Momoa, for everything, honey.
Girl.
That's a man.
Honestly, the most exciting thing for me will definitely be if Rogue and Mystique show up in Captain Marvel 2.
I promised I wouldn't say anything. I promised, so I want to keep my mouth shut.
This is the thing. I very much agree with Jared, and I very much think that his mindset is kind of is very intelligent and like,
and it's valid. Again, and it's valid. Like, I want you to know
how
that
do you introduce something that is so well known and iconic as the X-Men? The X-Men is the reason for the cultural shift, because it was X-Men and Spider-Man that like started the whole superhero movie franchise. You know, without those two movies, I don't know that Marvel would have taken the risk.
Without those comics, without the X-Men,
this wouldn't be happening. Again, they were like floundering as a company. Like they literally were, and they
were selling all their that's why they had to make an Iron Man, because they sold everything else.
Exactly. So, and Iron Man wasn't super well known, but like thank God for Robert Downey Jr. and Jon Favreau for being just the amazing.
Thank God for Jon Favreau in general, by the way. Let Jon Favreau save every franchise. Put him in charge of the DCU. Let him put him in charge there.
Right, give him at least a 2-movie deal. See what he can do and see the stories that he can create. At the same time, restore the Snyderverse. I'm here for it. But yeah, I you know, how do you introduce the X-Men? How do you do that? You know, and like the best idea would be in a way that is so like that would make people talk. Like, oh my God, the X-Men are the villains of this Marvel movie? Like, what? Like, how does that work?
I told you. I hope I'm wrong. I told you. I've said this many times. I hope I'm wrong. I really do, because I would be excited. I'll be sitting at the theaters right next to both of you, and I'll feel Jared's eyes turn to me when
you don't have
Rogue
to feel nothing. You'll
shows
hear
up.
me. You'll hear me in the middle of the movie. I'll say
we won't even be in the same theater, but you'll be like
told you so.
upstate New Jersey, and I'll be down here by Philly, and I'm just gonna hear you from across the
I'm
state.
only like
he will
I'll
blip
come down
into existence right next to you, Kyrus. He will
There's no way I'm letting you,
like,
Kyrus. There's no way I'm allowing you to go see Captain Marvel 2 in the theaters without me. I won't let you.
So for those of you that are unaware, Jared and I have a bet going. I said I will give you all of the money in my bank account, and it's payday this week. So I got a little something,
right,
and I put my stimmy away. I'm investing it, right? So with that said, we have a little bet going on. Jared believes that we are going to get Storm in either Thor 4 or in Captain Marvel.
No. I don't think we'll get Storm in Thor 4 in Captain Marvel. I think that there is a theory that we will get here. Finish it, and then I'll.
No, please, no. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So there's a theory.
I'm done, girl.
So there's a theory that we will get Storm. So the God Conqueror, the God Killer that Christian Bale is playing, calls upon. Obviously, he's a God Killer, and essentially the Thor core in the comics and that storyline go together very strongly. It's like very much together. Storm is a part of the Thor core. So this leak is saying that there is going to be a team up in Thor 4 with Jane Foster leading it with Thor and 4 or 5 other people that wield the hammer. Groot is one of them. There's a few more that they list. And then the final one that they list is Storm. So what they're saying essentially is that she will appear that way. The people that have said this, what they're saying is that this is why it all comes together for me.
Sure.
It won't. So I'll tell you this. I'll drop it if we haven't seen a mutant by that point.
Okay,
if we have seen no mutants before it, I'll drop it. But my theory is the leak that I trust the most is saying that they're playing us and that the mutants
I do believe that
they're saying that the mutants are coming before we think they are. So essentially what they're saying is that we're going to get pictures of X-Men or pictures of mutants that are going to come in and out in these next projects that are happening. They're saying that the mutants, like I said, will be the team up of characters we've already seen.
Right.
So with that being said, I believe that if they've already introduced them and they're going to retcon the mutant storyline, it would make sense for her to join Thor and then come to Earth or whatever.
Right.
My theory, the things I'm most excited for are that idea that the mutants will be introduced before we think they're going to be introduced. Sure. And honestly, the Rogue and Captain Marvel.
That's fair. I hope I'm wrong. I really do.
The reason that I actually will accept you being right for Storm over I'll accept you being right for Rogue is initially when they so there was all this stuff out like 2 years ago when they got the rights where they were essentially saying they were listing characters that were going to introduce the X-Men into the MCU. The same 3 were mentioned every time: Storm, Rogue, and Wolverine. It was mentioned multiple times.
Sure.
That those were the 3 that were going to introduce it. There's a lot of powers that be. It's not just me. And there are a lot of powers that be that feel like Storm was really disrespected on a film level as being not only one of the most powerful Black women in comics, but easily being probably the first or second most powerful woman in the Marvel. She's incredibly powerful and incredibly important to a lot of stories. She's the only woman that's really ever led the X-Men. There's a lot of stuff behind Storm that could really bring her to us. Right. So I want to see Storm. It's my childhood. I love Storm. I'm more certain, which is different than what I said the first time we did this. I'm more certain it's Rogue, and this is why. Captain Marvel is omnipotent. She does not need help. it's already been confirmed that both Monica Rambeau and Kamala are going to be in this film. That's not a speculation.
Yes.
Why would she need them if she didn't lose her powers? What would she need them for? Do you know what I mean? And when I say this, I'm not saying this in jest. I would go as far as to say the strongest female rivalry in the MCU is Rogue and Carol Danvers. There is not one that comes close to it, female-wise. It is up there canonically with Venom versus Spider-Man. It's up there with Sabretooth versus Wolverine. It's up there.
I hear you. Just let the record show. Every point that you make about their importance, I hear you.
How would she be?
I just think that we're going to get more Secret Invasion. We're going to get way more Secret Invasion than I think that the major surprises that we get are going to be more Secret Invasion focused than mutant focused.
I think they could do both at the same time.
Okay.
And I think that I know that y'all are like fans. I can't understand why, but I think they're trolling us for a long game with the Young Avengers. I think what they're doing is, I think it's very specific that Wiccan and Speed were so young, because I think what they're going to do is, number one, I don't think the world is ready for a brand new team of Avengers. I really, really don't. I don't think that as audience members, we will accept all new people carrying these mantles. With that being said, I think that they're trying to make us think that other things are happening, so we don't pay attention to the mutants happening.
Well, I mean, Marvel is known to troll.
Yeah,
like, for sure. Like you just look at their movie trailers in general. Like they throw things in movie trailers that aren't. They just filmed for the trailer. Like
the Wakanda fight in the Infinity
when they're all
War,
running out of the woods.
in Wakanda.
Not even there. In the movie. In fact, actual Hulk,
is never
wasn't
in
even
Wakanda.
there.
Never even there.
It just says no.
It's just to me like. It makes, so first of all, another reason why I'm really excited about it is that what's that actress? You know her name, Kyrus, that they haven't said what role she's playing. They just say she's in the film. Captain Marvel too. It's like that woman, she has like an undisclosed role, but she's famous. Let me
I'll pull it up. Keep talking, I'll pull it up.
Female.
Ladies and gentlemen, please comment down below if you think it is Mephisto. If you are on Team Jonathan and you are ready for Mephisto to make his MCU debut,
okay.
Like, comment, share.
Zawe Ashton, I believe her name is.
And so
she is a black woman. I'm sorry, she's mixed. I'm sorry.
So the thing is, if they make Rogue a woman of color, I would lose my mind in the best way. So that, to me, I think it's very specific that we know that Kamala, a character we've never even seen, we already know she's in this movie, but we don't know who that girl is playing. Do you know what I mean?
It just says that she was cast as an MCU villain, but we don't know
it just feels too much of a perfect storm to me, especially a perfect storm, ironically. But it feels too much of a perfect storm to me, because for me, in my mind, I just think, what is Rogue's power? She absorbs the other powers. What does she do to Captain Marvel? She puts Carol Danvers in a coma. She takes all of her powers and puts her in a coma. Who would be able to defeat someone with Captain Marvel's powers but Monica Rambeau and Kamala? That, to me, it just would be a miss for them not to do it, because it's one of those things where, like, Rogue was a villain in the comics a long time before she was an X-Men. So that could be another long game thing. They're like,
sure. Listen, Jared, I am with you. You bring up incredibly valid
points. You just want to be
points.
right. You just want to say no so you can be right.
No, listen.
Girl.
I'm with you.
This is
I'm
controversial. I'm here for this.
I agree with you. My mustache agrees with you. Like I agree with you. I just don't think it's gonna happen.
Let me call back to Kyrus. Let me call back to Kyrus. The 2 weeks before WandaVision was over, making sure he told us all 3 times that he did not believe that we were going to get any good cameos, and he was right. But he had to make sure. He was like, just in case y'all didn't hear me the first time, I was right. No cameos are coming.
I never said I never doubled down and said I was right, y'all were wrong. I didn't even do that when you said look at the X in the background. When you come to find out, it's a stop sign that's quite common in that area of the country.
How annoying that they would use that. I'm like, Marvel wouldn't just put a regular stop sign over that shit. We got to see an X, the X. I'm like, come on.
That's the sign that area of the world uses.
Exactly.
Everywhere.
It's even more disappointing.
I didn't rub that in your face either. I did not.
No, and this is obviously I love Kyrus. We're just playing. For me, the Rogue thing, I when they first said they were doing Captain Marvel, I was like, oh, it's like doing X-Men with Magneto and not Professor X. Do you know what I mean? Or doing it with Professor X and not Magneto. I don't think that, like, if it doesn't happen, I'm sure the movie will still be phenomenal.
Sure.
I just think that it would be it would just be so cool. Because
I think it would be awesome.
But you're right. I agree. I think that, like, what would also be awesome is if they're trolling us and then we find out that that's another character that we've been waiting for. You know what I mean? How exciting.
Listen, they know how to troll. Even in WandaVision, when we spent weeks trying to figure out who the scientist was, come to find out it was just like, it was me. It was like some random person.
Yeah. There's still things in WandaVision that I don't trust because, like, there's so much stuff that's come out that the pandemic kind of changed the storyline a little bit. So I wonder if maybe we were going to get not a Reed Richards cameo, but maybe we were going to get a name drop. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
I also think it's hard to do really long game stuff because, like, look at Thanos. Like, 2 actors played that role, so it's like we don't really know maybe what the point. Like, maybe they don't want to cast someone as Reed Richards if they decide they want to go in a different direction in 4 years.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, I'm excited. This is exciting. This is never a dull moment in the world of comic books and all of that. My friends, Jared, John, we held it down today, friends.
We did.
Yeah, Kyrus and the Queen, honey. Kyrus and the Queen.
Kyrus and the Queen. Last week it was Kyrus and the 3 J's. Kyrus and the 3 J's. This week it was Kyrus and the Queens. Yeah, I'm okay with that. You'll hear no complaints from me. My friends, if you enjoyed listening to this today, please be sure to follow me on your favorite social media platforms. And you can also follow Jared and John on their platforms as well, and say hi to them and tell them how Mephisto is going to show up and be the big bad.
It's important that no one forgets to troll Kyrus under his. I need all the lightning emojis. I need them all under there. If you don't want to do that, you don't feel comfortable, you can post pictures of Rogue on your story and tag Kyrus. Feel free to do that. It's at The Vibe with Kai. I'll start it as soon as we're done.
That's amazing. I love it.
Please tag pictures of Rogue.
And I'm going to screenshot all of them. And then when it comes to be not true, I'm going to repost all of them with just the eyes.
Jared Milian. That's
just the eyes, the eye emoji. That's it. Yeah. So make sure you go follow all of us on your favorite social media platforms. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you're listening on your favorite podcast area, whether it's Spotify or Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts, make sure you follow me there as well because we're always putting out something. With that said, my friends, thank you for listening and for watching today. To my queens, Jared and John, being beautiful people as always. Thank you for being guests today and holding it down. To our friends Jackie and Michael, missing out today. That's okay. You live your beautiful lives. We love you.
I can't wait for the return of Michael.
I know he's gonna be fired up.
So
when he comes back, I might have to be like, okay, Mike, the first 5 minutes, first 5-10 minutes, it's all you.
Yeah,
talk.
Mike, just let him
talk. Uninterrupted talk, because he's writing stuff down. All of this.
We're here with Michael. That's how that segment will be. We are here with Michael.
Exactly. So it'll just be Mike time. But yeah, Mike and Jackie, we're thinking of you, and everybody else. Thank you so much for watching. As always, God bless and good vibes. Bye. What a show.